What is going on, everybody, and welcome to part 17A of Garry's Mod Game Mode Scripting. In today's part, we're going to begin setting up our first entity, which is going to be the ammo dispenser. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start in our base game mode folder here. So in this base game mode folder, we want to double click on entities, then entities again, and then here we want to create a new folder that'll represent our ammo dispenser. So we're just going to call it ammo_dispenser. Open that up, and we want to add 3 new Lua files here. The first one's going to be the cl_init.lua. This is going to be the client side file. Let's copy and paste this 2 more times. The second file is going to be the init.lua file, which is the server side file. And the third one, the shared.lua file. Let's go ahead and open all 3 of these. And once those are open, let's go ahead and start adding the includes. So in our cl_init, we need to include the shared.lua. And the init.lua, the server side, we need to add 2 client-side Lua files, so add cs_lua file. This first one being the cl_init.lua file. And then the next one being the shared.lua file. And then we also want to include the shared.lua file server side. And then in our shared.lua file, we don't need to include anything here, but we do want to fill this out with some basic information for our entity. This first piece of information is the entity type. We want to start it with ent for ent dot type and set this equal to anim. This is just the default for most entities, and we will probably be using this for every entity. We probably will not be using anything else. Next up, we want the ent.base. This is going to be equal to the base_gmod entity. And again, this is going to be the default. We probably won't be using anything else besides this. The next, the ent.category. This is going to be the category that this entity is going to fall under in our Q menu underneath the Entities tab. And I guess I can show you that now. In the Q menu, under Entities, this category, it'll be one of these. So if we call this category Buildings, it'll have another thing down here called Buildings. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to call this Buildings. Next up, we need the print name for it, so the name that we want to be displayed in the Q menu. ent.printName. Let this equal to ammo dispenser. Next up, the author of it. ent.author. Go ahead and put your name here. I'm just going to put Aragitic because that is my username. Next up, the purpose of this entity. ent.purpose. And this is going to give ammo. Then the instructions on how to use it. ent.instructions. Set this equal to place and use. You can pretty much put whatever you want for these. And then we want to make sure that this is spawnable, and we do this with ent.spawnable. And set this equal to true, because we want it to be able to be spawned. Then ent.admin spawnable. This is going to decide whether or not it's admin only. If it's true, it's admin only. Only admins can spawn it. If it's false, anybody can spawn it, including admins. So we're going to set that to false because we want players to be able to spawn this. Go ahead and save that, and let's go to our cl_init.lua file. I'm just going to add the functions here. We're not actually going to fill them out now, just so this video doesn't run on too long. So the first function we need here, and the only function we need here for now, is the function ent::draw. And then end that. This is just going to draw what we need it to do, such as the model, so it actually displays on screen. But again, we will be getting into that in the next part. In our init.lua file, we need 4 functions here. And by the way, with all of these functions, they are all going to begin with ent just because they are entity-related functions and they are going to affect the entity. So function ent::initialize. This is going to initialize this entity, and then end that. The next one, function ent::spawn function. And it's going to take in 3 arguments: a player, the location that the player is looking at, so tr, then the name of the entity or the class name for the entity. This is going to allow us to create the entity later on. And we most likely will be getting rid of this later on because we do not want this entity to be spawned from the Q menu. We're going to set up our own shop where they can spawn it from the F4 menu that we've been working on. And we will be going back to that. We just need to create an entity first so we can begin working on that shop portion of the F4 menu. Next up, function ent:\use. This is going to take in 2 arguments, both entities. Activator is the first one, then the caller is the second entity. And end this. Now I'm going to throw in a comment here. This is just going to be called whenever a user, or whenever a player uses the entity. So whenever they press E on it, or whatever the use key is. Then the next one is function ent:\think. And then this is just going to be called every tick. So every single tick, it will do something. So if you have this printing out a message every single tick, then that's what's going to happen. It's going to print out that message every single tick as long as it's within this think function. So that is just the setup for this. We are going to be filling this out with more stuff. We're going to actually make this be spawnable, and it's going to be able to be seen on screen with its own model and all that other stuff, spawning in front of the player and everything else. But again, that won't be till the next part, so thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to look them over and reply to them if need be. Anyways, I hope to see you next time.